Okay, here we go. According to Jeff Passan, Manny Machado and the San Diego Padres are finalizing an 11-year, $350 million contract extension. Sources familiar with the deal tell ESPN. Machado helped turn around the franchise. He'll stay as the ascendant Padres seek their first championship. I actually responded to this and I said, and that's why his camp put out there that he was going to opt out. Dude got the bag. Well, what was I talking about? Well, Manny Machado, I mean, he said it himself. My focus is about 2023 and what I can do for this ball club and what I have done for this organization and what we are going to continue to do here. I think we have something special growing, and I don't think anything is going to change. But just above, he did say, obviously, the team knows where I stand. My situation with the opt-out coming. I think I've expressed that I will be opting out after this year, but my focus is not about 2024. So with Machado, I mean, he had a lot of leverage here. What a fantastic season that he had last year. He was a finalist for the MVP award, 150 games, hit 298, a 366 on base, a 531 slugging, 32 homers, a 152 WRC plus, a 7.4 Fangraph WAR, played some great defense over there at third base. He had a ton of leverage in this situation. Now, the reports are that he was looking for maybe 10 years, $400 million. Like, that is just crazy. So, to me, I think this is this sounds about right to me. 11 years, 350. You know, he's putting it out there. He's going to opt out. One of 10 years, 400. You know, he's trying to get as much as he can here. And it looks like they agreed on what both sides thought was a fair deal. So you're looking at just under $32 million per season. Man, oh man. Now, the next question here for the Padres is, what are they going to do with Juan Soto? I mean, that I think is something you got to get that done with Juan Soto. This is crazy to me. They have so many big contracts, long-term contracts on this roster right now. You got Machado now. You just signed Bogarts. You have Fernando Tatis Jr. for 14 years. I mean, that right now, it's the salary itself is pretty manageable, but it's going to increase a ton by the time you get to 2029. Who knows? Maybe that could be a bit of a bargain at that point. But you just also signed Yu Darvish. You got Joe Musgrove. He's not a free agent until after 2027. So what is going to happen here with Juan Soto? He's going to be getting $23 million this year. 2024 is going to be his last year before free agency. This is a guy, you know, he did have a bit of a down year last year, but they took away the shift. I think that's going to help him. Obviously, it's Juan Soto. He's going to be really good. I think he's going to be completely fine, but they also took away the shift. That's only going to help him even more. I think Juan Soto is going to have a monster year this coming year. Who knows what kind of a contract that guy ends up getting, but you got a lot of moolah on this payroll right now, and Juan Soto is not even on it long term. But also, don't forget as well about Mr. Shohei Ohtani. According to an article recently by John Heyman, it says here, the Padres, who seem to be collecting superstars, are said by one Angels person to be viewed as a major threat. The Dodgers shaved $60 million off their payroll for what could be a run at Ohtani, and Cohen, who's run his payroll to a record $380 million, is logically seen as the biggest threat if he wants to come east. But to me, the Padres, they really wanted Ohtani before he ended up going to the Angels, and I think they're going to be just as aggressive again. I mean, this is just crazy to think. Could you imagine if they signed that? Now they have Machado, Bogarts, Fernando Tatis Jr. locked up, and could you imagine they also sign Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani? I don't know where they're getting all this money from, man. That's going to be a ton of money. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you think the Padres will sign both Soto and Ohtani? If you were to pick one, which one would you sign? I mean, let me know down below in the comments. I'm very interested in that. But for the main story here, I think this is good. You know, like Jeff Passan mentioned, you know, he was kind of like that first big piece for the Padres, Manny Machado, and, you know, the year that he had last year. I think the Padres are going to be really good, and I think this was just good for the morale of the team as well. It kind of just takes that focus off of, you know, what's Manny Machado going to do? I think, to me, they really want to win a championship this year, and if you got that cloud kind of hanging over the team, is Machado going to opt out? I mean, that's going to be a thing that reporters are going to be asking him for the whole year, but now that distraction is completely gone. That's only going to be a positive. But let me know down below what you think about Manny Machado and this new deal for 11 years, $350 million. That is a lot of money. Speaking of contract extensions, let's talk about Bryan Reynolds and the Pirates. Not too long ago, it was reported that Bryan Reynolds had requested a trade because they could not come to an agreement on a contract extension. And we actually have some more details on that, according to Rob Beartempfel. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I botched that. But according to him, he is saying here, the Pirates in November offered a 6-year, $80 million extension. That is not all that much, in my opinion, if you ask me. Reynolds countered with an 8-year, $134 million request. When their Pirates refused to budge, Reynolds asked to be traded. When he reported to spring camp last week, Reynolds said he's willing to remain with Pittsburgh only if the club offers a fair deal. So 6 years, $80 million. I cannot do math in my head. What is that per year? That is not all that much. 80 divided by 6. You're looking at about less than $13.5 million per year. That just sounds a little low if you ask me. But 134 over 8, you're looking at just under $17 million per season. I don't know. I think a fair deal for Bryan Reynolds, who's 28 years old. Why not give him a contract through his age 35 seasons? So let's say, I don't know, 7 years, 120. You're looking at around $17 million per year. I think that would be pretty fair, in my opinion. To me, I know it's always fun to talk trades, you know, all the trade rumors. Where could this guy end up? What are some good fits for him? But in my personal opinion, I think the Pirates should hang on to Bryan Reynolds. This is a guy you can kind of just build around him. You know, he's your guy. He's your star player, and he's just entering the prime of his career. And you have so many young players coming up. This Pirates organization is really strong with prospects right now. And if you have a guy, a centerpiece in Bryan Reynolds, you know, for the next 6-7 years, maybe 8, you know, that to me is just, it's going to be just a good thing, in my opinion, especially with all these younger players coming up. Bryan Reynolds, he would just be the centerpiece of everything, and he's also just a really good player. Got off to a bit of a slow start last year, but overall had himself a good year. Hit .262, 345 on base, 27 homers, had a .461 slugging, a 125 WRC plus, right around a 3-win player on Fangraphs. I think he's going to have himself a good year, just getting into the prime of his career. He was so good in 2021. He had a 6.1 Fangraph WAR, hit 302 with a 390 on base, 522 slugging. He was absolutely fantastic. To me, you know, when you look at the value of, you know, what he's produced, if we go here to value on Fangraphs, he was worth just under $50 million in 2021. Last year was worth around 23. I mean, to me, if he hits the open market, I absolutely think he would get at least $20 million per year, in my opinion. But if he wants to stay in Pittsburgh, you know, to me, I think you should give him a fair deal. You know, 17, 18 million per year, you know, taking a bit of a hometown discount, but he has that security until he's around, you know, 34, 35. I think the Pirates should do that. They need to stop being cheap. They need to keep this guy long term. Like I said, I know it's fun to talk trades and everything, but I think just for the Pirates' sake, this is a guy you should lock up. But let me know what you think down below in the comments on this story. Let's shift gears and talk about some actual baseball. Spring training is underway, and we had some drama with my Red Sox. They're always in the news. Everyone thinks they just had this terrible offseason. I don't think it was really all that bad. I gave it a B on my offseason grades. You can check out that video somewhere up here. But more drama for the Red Sox. Ended in an automatic strike call. It was a 6-6 game. You had 2 outs, a full count, bases loaded, bottom of the 9th, and he did not step into the box quick enough. So if we go take a look at the new rules, it is 15 seconds with the bases empty, 20 seconds with runners on, but the hitter has to be in the box with 8 seconds left. So that is why the game ended. It's spring training. It just ended in a tie. But here are just some statistics according to MLB.com. The pitch timer helped reduce the game length by 25 minutes in the minors in 2022, and also it limits on pickoff attempts led to a 26% increase in stolen base attempts in the minor leagues. I saw a lot of people complaining about the pitch clock yesterday. A lot of people just like to go on Twitter. They like to just complain about a whole bunch of stuff. But in my personal opinion, I like the pitch timer. I think it's good. You know, I can understand why baseball fans maybe don't like the pitch clock. I see a lot of people saying, oh, don't mess with the game. You know, it's fine the way it is. You know, just don't rush the game. It's a beautiful game. You need to just let it play out. In my opinion, now, I grew up in a time, now if we go here to Baseball Reference, they got some statistics. During my time of growing up as a child and a teenager, loving the game of baseball, the games were just much more efficient. They just moved quicker. If we take a look here, 2004, when my Red Sox won the whole thing, you had an average game time under 3 hours, 2 hours and 51 minutes on average. I mean, if we look here all the way, actually 2000, it was over 3 hours on average, but from 2001 all the way to 2011, it was under 3 hours on average. But then when we started getting into the 2010s, look at just the average times here: 3 hours, 4 minutes, 3 hours, 7 minutes, 3 hours and 8 minutes in 2017, 3 hours and 10 minutes in 2019, 2021, 3 hours and 11 minutes. I mean, to me, I noticed it. I have the game on. When my Red Sox are playing, I always got it on. I'm always seeing what's going on. And to me, the game has just moved slower. And I can notice the difference because I've always watched as many games as I can. Most games, honestly, are always on my TV. But I always noticed that there definitely was a slower pace to the game, over the last, 5 to 10 years compared to when, my Red Sox winning in 2004, 2007, the game just moved quicker. And I think for baseball fans, I can understand it's not really going to bother them so much, but I'm more thinking about the casual fans, people that just want to go to a game. People these days, it's 2023. It's hard to keep people's attention these days. I'm a teacher. I know. I teach fourth graders. I know for exactly how it is with the younger generation now. You got to work that much harder to keep their attention. And I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to build your game with just slow games. It's just not how it is anymore. So I think this is a really good thing that Major League Baseball is doing it. And let's be real here. During that time of the picture, they throw a pitch, they walk back to the mound. You got the batter adjusting his batting gloves, kicking his cleats in the dirt. What are you really gonna be missing all that much, really, at the end of the day? I think it's gonna end up making the game much more efficient. I think it's gonna be much more digestible in the long run, especially for more of the casual fan. And sure, I definitely think right now it's going to be a little messy in spring training. I think there is a very good chance that we could see another outcome like this. But this is why they're doing it in spring training. I'd rather them do it now instead of the regular season. And I still think in the regular season, you're going to have some hiccups. I definitely think you're going to see some games get affected by some of these rule changes, especially the pitch timer. So it's going to be interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below on everything with the pitch timer. And for my last story from this past week, it's a pretty interesting one in my opinion, so I want to touch on it. It's about my Red Sox. Yet again, my Red Sox in the news this past week. Triston Casas ruffled feathers with pregame routine. Learned valuable lesson in the process. What was his pregame routine? This dude would go out at Fenway Park or wherever. He would go lay in the grass. This was in the minor leagues too. He would go lay out in the grass. The sun was shining. This dude would get a tan before the game. He would do some yoga out there, shirtless. And it was, I guess, ruffling some feathers. But Triston Casas, like I said, this is something that he did in the minor leagues. Now, if we take a look here, there is a quote. He says, where is this quote? So he says here, I would just throw down a towel, one over my eyes, one for my head, cross my arms, and have people step over me. Oh, also, he would take a nap before the games as well in the clubhouse. So that's what he means by that. Cassis said, coaches saw me for years. Plenty of coaches, plenty of players, plenty of rehab guys. Nobody ever told me anything. So naturally, I assumed it was okay. However, there was one day where a player not named walked out to the field. Let me get the quote here. It's in this article. Says here, out of earshot of Cassis, a veteran Red Sox pitcher walked out of the dugout, saw the scene in right field, and bristled. To no one in particular, he made his feelings known. Are you bleeping kidding me? The pitcher asked. I think this is kind of hilarious, to be honest. When I first saw the pictures of this, they were kind of on Twitter. They were circulating a little bit. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't know, but in a way, I can understand, you know, if it's a rookie coming up and they're kind of just doing something completely against the grain. And especially when you're a rookie, you know, when you're a young guy coming up to the major leagues, I think there's just that sense of, you know, a lot of these guys have been around for a long time, veteran players. And when they see like a rookie, a new guy doing something like that, I can see that it's a bit of a natural reaction where it's like, who the heck is this guy? What is he doing here? He hasn't earned anyone's respect here yet. He's been good in the minor leagues, but he hasn't shown that he could do it at the major leagues. This is probably not something he should be doing in the major leagues. I can kind of see it as like a respect thing, where I could see a veteran player maybe reacting in that way. Now, if it was another major league player, you know, a guy that's been around for, you know, 5, 6, 7 years at least, I could see really not being an issue. But Cassis was a new guy coming onto the scene. Sure, top prospect, but it's kind of one of those things where I think it might have been a little too much too soon, where you're kind of, you know, like the article says here, ruffling some feathers. You're the new guy. You got to earn the respect of the veterans. And actually, Alex Cora made some comments on this. He actually said we had no issues in the clubhouse. Personally, I don't think it was really like a big thing where guys were like arguing with each other and like, you know, getting in each other's faces and, you know, just yelling at each other. I don't think it ever turned into that. I think it was more, you know, just veteran players just kind of wanting to communicate with him like, hey, you're the new guy here. You got to kind of, you know, earn your stripes here first before you kind of start doing some stuff like that. So I don't think it was really ever a major thing. But, and I do agree with Alex Cora saying we had no issues in the clubhouse. But I do think it was kind of a thing, you know, where maybe some rookies were kind of, you know, the Red Sox obviously were not a good team last year. But I definitely think it probably got to a point where you had veteran guys, you know, kind of talking with each other mostly. You know, you had, you know, there were some younger players for the Red Sox. They were kind of grouping up together. So maybe there was a slight divide in the clubhouse. I don't think it was anything really all that big of a deal. But I'll be honest with you, I absolutely love this. I mean, look at this. This is fantastic. I don't know. I think it's one of those quirky things that I think, you know, could end up being just like, I don't know what you could end up, you know, could you market this? Could you make t-shirts out of this? I don't know. Maybe make some Triston Casas suntan lotion or something. I don't know. But some Triston Casas sunglasses, you know, Triston Casas, maybe he makes a series of yoga. I don't know. Who knows? The Red Sox, they love to market stuff. But I could see this being kind of just something that fans just like down the road. Like, it's just something quirky. It's something different. And I liked it. You know, let the man cook. Literally, let the man lay out in the sun and cook. But I could also understand the veteran guys maybe getting a little you know, disapproving of his pregame routine, especially as a rookie. We will have to see if Triston Casas will continue to cook this coming season. But that's all I have for this video, everyone. Thanks for watching. Let me know any comments you have down below, or leave a comment on anything. I don't even know what I'm saying. Leave whatever comment you want down below. Like the video, share the video if you can. But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.